Hello and welcome back to the channel. It has been a little while, and in that time I have actually been incredibly busy, but I'd like to show you and introduce you to my latest purchase, which is a little bit of a different one. This is a 1992 Kawasaki zxr400. Now, before you get any ideas of it being a bit of a puny 400, this motorcycle's in the A class. Why? Well, it's a 400cc inline 4. So there was a time when emissions weren't really that important, and basically that's when manufacturers were making little things like this. So you get the zxr400, which is also an inline 4 250cc. You get the zxr400 as well, same sort of thing. They're slightly different in the sizes of them, and slightly different between the 250s and the 400s. The 400s and the 750s are pretty much similar. But anyway, back in a little history lesson, in the 90s they came out with a 400cc class, and these were known as little pocket rockets. And trust me, at 62 horsepower, it is a little pocket rocket. So we're going to take it out on the road so you can actually see what it's like to ride, how it handles, all of that kind of stuff. Now, if you're interested in this bike, then please stick around to the very end, and I will explain in detail a little bit more as to what it's like for an ownership, what things to expect, and even then, why I actually bought it. So yeah, let's have a little ride. Well, I've actually bought myself a Kawasaki zxr400, which is awesome. Trust me, this thing is an amazing bit of kit. And as you can hear, it isn't a single cylinder. It's not even a parallel twin. It is an inline 4 400cc. It is a absolute hoot to ride. And it sounds the absolute fucking nuts. Not only does it sound the absolute nuts, once you get into that higher power band, this thing is an animal. And you've got to wait for those revs to seriously build up. And as you can see, after that, it is a hoot, don't you fucking dare, mate. Whoa. You can get into some serious bit of trouble with this, but it is so much fun. So much fun. Now, you can get this bike on an A2 license because you can have it restricted, because this thing's got 62 horsepower. And the issue with it being 62 horsepower and restrictable is the fact that all the power on this is totally up the top. So if you put a restrictor kit on it, you're actually cutting out the front part of the bike, and that would be a dire shame. Now, for comfortability, it's a solid 2 out of 10. Because this bike isn't a race replica, it's literally a race bike with lights on it. It's fully adjustable suspension on the front and the rear, with twin disc brakes at the front. And there is no compromise on comfort here, because honestly, it ain't comfortable. Your wrists will hurt. It does take a little while to get used to the bike. However, its handling is just spot on. It's unreal. The handling on this bike is just oh, wow. Now, I know what you're thinking. Is it a baby Ninja? Well, the answer sadly is no. And that's a bit of blasphemy to the gods of motorcycles. Because quite frankly, this is more Ninja than the Ninja 400. This is an inline screamer 400. And it's such a fun bit of kit. It drinks fuel though, that's for sure. It gets about 140 miles for a tank if you're a bit more sensible.
and yeah, you won't necessarily be fully sensible on it, that's for sure. Now I've put zx400 mirrors on it, the 2003 shape. I just think they're a bit more in keeping. You've got your Ram air scoops in here as well, but your knees and your elbows, pretty much you can touch them, because that is very sporty. The bike's also really small, so don't expect it as big as a ZX6R or like any other 600s that you know. I'm 5'7" and I fit this bike like a glove, not gonna lie, but it can get a bit cramped. Oh, you can just hear that, and the power just wants to kick in. This is a mad bit of kit, guys. I absolutely love it. Now in the late 80s, in like 1988, so a year older than me, they came out with the first model of this. They also had the zxr400, slightly smaller, less power, also an inline 4. And you've got then the zxr750. Now the reason they don't call these the Ninjas is because Ninja was a marketing scheme for America. So basically they were like, oh no, Americans aren't going to like ZX6 and all these other numbers and whatnot, letters and numbers combinations. So they went, what will make it sell? And they said, we'll call it the Ninja. And let's be quite frank, that was a good shout. Not going to lie, that was a good shout. But in the market, in England, in the UK, across the pond, these were like imports and grey imports. So we don't mind the letters and numbers. And as you can hear, the suspension on this is actually quite stiff. It will shake you about a bit, but it's oh mate, this thing goes. It just goes. The suspension is stiff. Ride though is just razor sharp handling, like razor sharp. And it is an absolute amazing bit of fun kit. Effectively, with the 62 horsepower, it won't hang about. It really won't hang about. And as you can see, if we drop it a gear, you can disappear. It's just all the big boy noise, all the big boy fun. Would I use it as a daily? Probably not, it's just really not that comfortable. But it's great when you go into bike meets, it's an absolute icebreaker. And yeah, overall, I think the bike's got a cool factor that is just sublime. Like inline 4 400cc. And this one is a 1992. And it goes like the clappers. The other thing is with the 400s, they actually have like a racing championship with these bikes. Finding a used one in good condition is a bit hard, because a lot of people track these. And yeah, light nodding to the other bikers. Always make sure you nod. Always make sure you nod. Learn the nod. Always make sure of that. But yeah, as you can see, absolute gorgeous little machine this. And if you're on the market for one, understand I wouldn't recommend it as a daily, but for a fun bit of kit, and I mean fun bit of kit, this is definitely the one that you're going to be wanting. The little baby screamer. Might not be called a Ninja, but I'll call it a Ninja, because it is far more ninja than the Ninjas that we're getting out.
So as you can see, this bike is absolutely fun. It is absolutely unadulterated, pure fun. It sounds nuts, it screams, it goes. Anything above third gear is illegal. However, as much as that is said, the problem with these bikes are they're very old now. When I say that loosely because this one's only slightly ever so younger than me. Now, with these bikes, one of the big things with them is they are basically a track bike. They are track orientated. The whole focus of this machine is to go around the track as fast as it can in the sub 64 division. So there is a big racing championship on these 400cc's. So you get the Honda VFR 400s, you get the Honda CBR 400 RRs as well. There's quite a few of them out there. Now, these bikes were actually designed to be competitors against the likes of the Suzuki RGV 250 and the Honda 250s as well of yesteryear. So these were basically the direct competitors. However, with the 250s being two strokes, they were a lot lighter and quicker around the corners, but when it came to straight, these things have a lot of torque to literally shoot it. I'm not going to lie, this thing will do 140 miles per hour. It is not by any means a slow motorcycle. So with that being said, even though it is fast and it is very track orientated, the handling on it is unreal. Everything is literally adjustable. So you've got your suspension on the front and the rear that is adjustable. I mean, even the back over here, you can literally take the side panels off, you unclip the light, take 4 bolts off and all the back end is gone, so you can put your race fairings on it. It is as quick and track focused and orientated as that. So how does that relate to when you take it out on the road? Well, basically it doesn't really like being under 10,500 RPM. It wants to be going, and even then when you're going along the street, I totally get it now, superbikes sound like they need to go up in the gear, but the reason for that is there's not really much usable power below 6,000 RPM, which sounds like a high note, but this bike just screams to the very top, and it's just fun to hear it all the time that you're riding. However, so that being said, you're going to be watching your speed because this thing will fly. And in regards to the actual comfort of the bike, again, as I say, after about an hour and a half, you might feel like you're riddled with arthritis unless you're sort of like 19 years old. Now, one thing you can do is you can get this bike on an A2 license because you can put a restrictor kit on it. But if you do so, you are literally taking away everything that makes the bike fantastic. So if you're thinking about getting one and putting it on your A2 license, riding it for a couple of years, you could do it, but I personally would just say you're just not going to be enjoying the bike much, in all fairness. Now, the other important thing to note is when buying one of these, there aren't that many of them around, and those who have a really good one want to keep hold of them because these will only go up in value. The other issue with it as well is most of them have been tracked, so don't expect one that is in absolute mint condition, and if you do find one in absolute mint condition, expect to be paying over £3,000 pretty much. So with that being said, there are little nooks and crannies and issues about owning one of these, of which even I have been finding out. Because the bike is old, the electrics are old. In fact, I had the regulator already go on me, and that melted part of the loom as well. So if I just show you the pictures here. So as you're already getting a bit of a gist, this is kind of the motorcycle where if you own one, get used to being with some spanners, or at least be savvy with some spanners. Do not expect just to have an issue-free, no hassle motorcycle, and it's not down to the Japanese reliability or anything like that. It's literally due to the fact that this bike is borderline a classic. And whilst yes, it is borderline a classic, it does still look good even by today's standards. Like, honestly, it's a great little icebreaker. Owning one of these, it's great if you to add to your collection, so I wouldn't use it as a daily, but if you're looking at a bike where you can go out and you can meet people or go to bike events, this thing is an icebreaker. And in fact, as most of you probably know, the only things motorcycles tend to really attract are other dudes and little children, and that's not everybody's cup of tea. However, I will be honest, this bike being a lot smaller than the average bike, a lot of women will come over and ask to sit on your bike, so it's a bonus if you're sort of looking at the dating pool of the biking scene. Just putting that out there. So hopefully it's been a little bit of an eye-opener. Not everybody knows that there are these little inline 4 400cc's, the little pocket rockets. And just for a fun fact, Suzuki Bandit, they even made those in a little inline 4 400s. But you didn't know that one either. So yeah, this bike is definitely something for an enthusiast. It wouldn't be your daily, but it is definitely an awesome bit of kit to take out and about and just show off. And even then, just the handling on it is that good, honestly. But yeah, so if you enjoy the channel and you enjoy this kind of content, then please smash that subscribe button, give it a thumbs up, and yeah, subscribe for a bit more. But till next time, ride it out.